right now on March 23rd, Sunday, March 23rd. And I'm on here to give you guys just a little bitty update about what's going on. This won't be a super long video. As soon as I say that, it turns into it. I just have some messages to get out to everybody about where we are right now in this transition. 3 timelines have formed. So there's 2 higher, what you'd consider ascended timelines. One that we're going to call ascended from now on. The one above that is ascended descended, meaning we've already gone up, we've already claimed what we needed to do, and then we're weaving it back in. And then there's the timeline that the rest of the collective is on. Now, the difference between these 2 top timelines, and this isn't a race, nobody's whatever, okay? You just got to remember that there's some of us that were laid for this and walked entire programs for 50 years at least in order to have all the moves that we need in our DNA by the time this came. And so this ascended, the ascended collective, the one that is mentally activated, but you are still regaining your etheric body. You're still learning how to utilize high frequency tools, command things, create your timeline, doing your timestamps and things like we teach over here for you to bring in a 5D timeline. The ascended basically have 1 foot in 3D and 1 foot in 4D. Your ascended descended have 1 foot in 5D, 1 foot in 4D. So these 2 higher groups are working together. They have to. You can either get on board with how we're doing it, or you can completely pull your energy from the collective, because we are in one bubble down here. What you have to go through in order to get out of the simulation, there's only one way out. And it took millions of years to create it. Once we get more up here, we can start doing things a little bit differently, but we're all doing things similarly so that we can keep a current state. The only thing that we don't have as an ascended collective is a sheriff, and it's only because we voted to be free and sovereign. But that doesn't mean that each one of us haven't already put footprints in the sand, because this is the second 7-year tribulation, not the first. If you're just now waking up, you should not be running around doing grid work right now. I've told somebody about this. She refused to listen. I said, okay, no hard feelings, good luck, but you're heading into Tennessee. And you have no idea what's waiting for you. Now, to all the ones that are doing grid work, I need everyone to hear what I'm telling you. They were messing with us whenever we were doing our grid work 3 and 4 years ago. Whenever you activate and your ego is still in charge, because it happened with us, then what was happening was ones of us who had the connections to go in and clear what needed to be cleared, which, by the way, would not have been connected to this lifetime. It would have been connected to many, 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 many other lifetimes, and not even specifically in your family line. It would have been bloodline connections, the Illuminati, the covens, whatever you want to call it, was lining up on top of it. What we realized is that they're making you go do it again in order to try to destroy what it is we've already cleared. Whenever you're, and I'm not saying that this is like from here on out, I'm saying right this minute when Venus is going backwards out of Aries into Pisces, as Mercury is going back. The beginning degrees of Aries were all reset by a collective that actually blew the entire wheel in the zodiac out of the physics of looping. All right? So right now, what you should be doing is realizing that your DNA is upgrading. It's upgrading to an extent. We started a car yesterday across the United States. We started a car. I about passed out here. Yesterday, we had Venus retrograde Cazimi on top of the sun. Venus has all your timelines. Venus has already gone all the way up to Alpha Draconic Notice 2, where we will get back to eventually, where all this DNA is backing up into us, and we're pushing out our new cleaned up timelines through our physical bodies in the collective, and everybody that can hold it, and the amount of energy and new high vibratory blood that you can hold is all dependent on what your heart can take, literally. That girl that didn't listen to me, you better not blame me whenever your engine blows, because I've been there. So we tell you these things because we've walked it and we didn't listen. And it's not that you're doing something wrong, but I'm just letting everyone know who's out there doing any type of grid work, you are disconnected from the collective right now. We will not take any changes within any grid work of anybody down here, because nobody should be doing it at this point. All you're doing is backing up your own system, and the collective will not, we won't stand for only you to be backed up. That's not how this works. So, now that that's been said, I also talked about, now, this past week with Venus going retrograde over Aries and Venus retrograde, which just went over the sun, what it showed you was programs. What it showed you was magic. What it showed you was illusions. It would have been very apparent, because wherever Venus is, it's going to print. Now, 0 to 3 degrees Aries is what we had to rewrite in order to get back control of the etherics of what you call the Milky Way and what you call the zodiac wheel. In order to do that, we had to blow it out to a bigger wheel, which I've discussed on here, and it was taken down. So right now it's not even necessary, but just for everyone to understand that whenever you're getting out of the matrix, when you're in this ascended, okay, and how the 5G's connected, how the telecom's connected, how the currents are connected, how everything's manifesting for everybody, is going from Aries in the first house. When you clear from that, which takes way more than what most people think, you've got to clean from your DNA lines. You've got to clean from your insurance. You've got to clean from your employment, what money's coming in, how is it coming into the family. All these little bitty things are things that you start getting more and more knowledge about, and understanding how to replace those things as new things are coming in from this ascended descended outlook. As you uncoil from that and more start uncoiling, we'll start talking on here more about Leo in the first house settings, because what it is it's holding this outer wheel. We talked about this on the last video, this outer wheel, and things are being governed from out here, connected into more of your ancient royal true DNA lines that are pre-Merovingian, not Moravian, and basically have disproved every Moravian line down here. And if you don't know what that is, that's every single king and queen that ever walked here before was a descendant of pre-Merovingian. And we were all on the dark side or held in some type of magic water gating. Now, what has happened this weekend is that we have pulled everybody out of the garden. Now, if you don't know what the garden is, I think I've got some people. If you don't know what, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to pay attention to the chat just because I'm super tired, but I wanted to jump on and get this out to you, just so you have something going on. We've been transmuting spell work from the 1500s. Water gating can be done in a bunch of different ways. But if you don't know who you are and you happen to be stolen as a baby from 1500s, attached to some line, or I'm just giving you an example, then basically what they were doing to all of us is, and I've talked about this on here, they'll be in all these castles that are over in Europe. They'll be and in Russia. They're all over the place, and they do it here in the States by setting up little Barbie doll houses and keeping these Barbie doll houses in their house, and each Barbie doll that's in it is like, this is the AB negative, and this is the O, and this is the da da da, and this is the da da da, and then they trap you in the house. Well, whenever you're running programs over and over and over and over on a loop, they always know what we did before, even though we think it's the first time we did it. This is also why you really, if you're activated, I mean, if you're just now activating, you need to start listening to what we're telling you, and stop acting like you have no respect for the ones who came before you, because then the ones who come under you will have no respect for you, and that is basically how they've been able to get away with this for this long. We didn't have an organization. You think that there isn't an organization, but there is. It's very organized, and you prove your spot. So the only way to get up here and outprove one of us is to prove it. And we'd be happy for you to, but you got to prove it. We aren't in the time of doing that right this second. Right now, we're all upgrading to what we've already proved. It's coming through the entire human race, and it's flushing the lines. Now, a lot of us have seen people, and in the etherics through this, knowing that we led people out of caves. You were led out of water caves. You were led out of underground caves. You've had dreams about it. You've had visions about it. You were either being led or one of us was leading you. This is because this is what's happening in the etherics, which is getting you out of what you would call wormholes, stargates, star binds, satellite binds. Your energy has to come through that. There's only one way to get out, where the ants went before. Once you're on the other side, then you have more of an understanding of what you just came out of. Then we're more of an equal up here, okay? The garden and this specific water gating is going to be really, really deep. And this is specifically for the ones that are ascended, descended. Because you're gonna have an attachment to one of these ancient stories of these missing children. Your father died your mother died when you were born. Then in this lifetime, you're adopted. Your father dies every time you activate. Like, it's gonna be these programs that were somehow taking us, what we felt like kind of taking us out of the game. And it's going to be linked back to all of us disproving these Moravian lines. And this is why they came after us so hardcore. Because realize that the collective now is really leading everything. Those lines no longer have the power that they had in the specific areas that they did. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have any influence. It doesn't necessarily mean that they don't have any power. What it means is now it's all gone into a mix and shake. And they can sit there and do whatever they want. But whenever one of us catch it and call it out, we dominate the pattern. If it's only going to affect 10 people, then you only need one to call it out. If it's affecting 200 people, you might need 2. If it's affecting millions of people, you might need 5. If it's affecting billions, 6. That's it. In agreement. To call it out, for us to be shown what the truth is. Now, I want to say 2 things, and then my battery's going dead, and I also kind of want to give y'all some timelines until next week, okay? So you know where we're at. Number 1, take things back to easy. Mathematics, science, physics, quantum, blah, made this hard. It's not. It's easy. Your intention is everything. And everything has intention. You might think the doctor is there to help you. Is that their intention? Or is their intention to get you hooked on pills? I don't know. You've got it both ways. What you're going to be seeing and witnessing and realizing more and more and feeling, because you no longer have these blocks of DNA lines that are saying all the doctors are getting together and this is what we're going to do and we're going to get everybody addicted to pills and the feds are no longer running it. So you're going to start being able to sense that intention again. Whereas before you weren't able to sense, thank you moderators, you weren't really able to sense that intention from your job, from your boss, from your insurance company, wink, wink, from your auto insurance company. Who are you interacting with on a daily? Are they your friends? Even your family members, okay? You're going to start witnessing that a lot more. Also, remember, everything you do, you can put intention in. Every single thing that you do, when you drink your water, put intention in it. When you eat your food, put intention in it. When you serve your food, put intention in it. If you're redecorating your house, go check out cohue32.com. Go look at the house of Kochi. This is Archangel Michael. I slept with him last night, and let me tell you, I woke up with some Babylonian phonetics and hadn't felt more protected. And it did change from the cancer stuff that I slept on, which is more cell regenerative. So I've been like switching these blankets in and out. If you are having a real hard time understanding quantum, like this Babylonian stuff, like what is she talking about with these numbers and numerology and more of what you would call occult stuff, but really it's just cipher of the language through numeric patterns inside the matrix. Gemini is going to be the way to go. Gemini. Okay. I'm going to back up and plug this in. This is where things get simple. And my analogies are when we had the quilting circles. See, and I think the men got on to us way back then. The men figured out what us women were doing and thought, oh, well, I bet we can, I think they figured out what we were doing when we were in those quilting circles. Because what were we really doing? I talk about you can't change anything down here unless you're doing it in the physical. You can change it in the ethers, but then you're going to have to make a move in the 3D because you're human. So you have to cut something, you've got to sew something, you've got to create something. If you're creating up here or cutting in the etherics, even from spell work, you got to do it here on the ground. So when we were in those sewing circles, which by the way, somebody always got the blanket. What are we doing? Weaving. And then what are we doing? Johnny's got a problem. I don't know what's wrong with that boy. He just seems, ow! he just seems to be on the wrong side of every single situation. And do you remember when Ronnie's going through this, Janie? Oh, yeah, I remember, girl. I remember Ronnie going through it. So, Janie, you think you can send Ronnie over, talk to Johnny? You think you can help him? Now, what were we doing? I got chills all over me. What were we doing? We were writing it. What did we do? We sent help. Did Johnny know? No. Did Johnny feel that? In his energy, as soon as we were talking about we's worried about him, we want to get him help. Here's, you know, he would feel that. It's what we were doing. We were writing. Now, fast forward to a generation that has television, has this, where you see everything going on all over the place, and what starts happening? Worry. B bloodline. Oh my God. They're the most worry warts in the whole world. Martha Sue, man, I'd go walk out the door to go somewhere, and she'd go, "There's a serial killer out loose." It's like, really? Thanks for putting that on me right before I walk out the door. They're thinking that they're helping you by doing it. But it ain't what it's doing. What it's doing, especially the older they get, and every 10 years that they're here, and their words are spells, is they don't realize how they're sending it to your door. So we got to go back to the basics with this. I'll give you another example. You have somebody in your family who has some type of drug addiction, okay? What happens most of the time? They go missing. Then what happens? Everybody in the family is saying what? The same thing. Oh my God, I know it. They're back on the drugs. I just know it. Realize that the person you're talking about is picking up every bit of that. And if you happen to be the addict, you're picking it up in your energy. You're hearing it in your telepathy. And then what are you doing? You're like, screw it. Everybody's already saying I'm doing it anyway. I freaking hear them. So line it up. Instead, you should be going, I know they're not going to do it. We just got him clean. I know they're not. I send them love. I send them support. They know to call me. Call me. If you need me, call me. I'm not going to yell. I'm not going to get upset. I know that you can do it. Don't touch it. Go get a coffee. Go get a Red Bull. Like whatever you know that will support them, because they're picking up every single bit of it. And the further that we go along in this, as the years pass to 2032, the more that everyone's going to be able to read the minds and pick it up even worse. Basics. It's like we've all forgotten, and and this is the story I walked, didn't have a family. I was adopted, and the ones that were my true bloodline were the ones sending the spells. So I lived on Earth every single time down here without a family line that was supporting me. And that's why I am so touched, and with all the abilities that I have, the things that I can change, the things that I can undo, this that I'm telling you right now is the most powerful. And it's what we take for granted. And this is how you can talk to, and you just do it just because you're human nature, and God, my family. And I get it. I didn't have brothers and sisters that I argued with. I don't know what that's like. I was always an only child, but I always wanted one. You always want what you don't have. But whenever you have family support, and then when all you really need to do to talk to your family, to talk about this, is say, look, let's just do a little experiment. Let's start a phone tree. If there's a problem, let's just start a phone tree. You're trying to get a mortgage. You're worried about getting cleared. Let's call the phone tree. Everybody So-and-so's trying to get a mortgage. Let's push it through. I just got chills all over me. Now realize that whenever you're doing this, you're not only helping your family. Whenever your family does successfully help get one of you to a status that maybe you wouldn't have been able to get without your family, realize that then every single one of us in the line is going to then have that opening and that ability to move and get a new house, for instance, because it's never happened before. These are all brand new DNA lines. This is how you build empires. We're doing it now. This is how they built the empire that we just escaped from. Exactly what it is I'm telling you. Because we're recreating, we're restarting the whole thing. So whatever I'm talking about, you know, this is also, we're going to start talking about more this year on courting, dating, the way that we use, because I've got a whole bunch of information about how we used to do things, how we used to even set up what we call marriages here, what's involved with that in the families, because whenever you're a royal, you understand that it's not about what you have, it's about what you're making with your energy and your sexual energy in the relationships. And both families end up winning. So whenever you go into some type of marriage, these are things that if you dictate in the beginning, then there isn't a problem as much as all of us just going in blindly like we did this entire time. So a lot of this knowledge is coming in to the entire collective. If you've been picking it up, that's why. Because we'll be doing things the old way. You wish. Slick Willie, that's funny. I left Willie a note in Port Arena at the base root of the blood magic that the Japanese were doing. Slick Willie. You mean Slick William? You mean the one who had the will? You mean the stolen wills of the missing children, Willie? You just like them young, right, Will? Who's got a timestamp? 7:07. We delete William. We delete Willis. We delete Will. Who's got some more? What else with Will? No Will. You got to prove. Let me tell you, they're mad. They're mad. Okay, one more thing. And I'll just remind all y'all, and I reminded, I think, everybody on the real short TikTok live I did yesterday. All of you that are talking crap over here, that are so scared about leaving behind whatever the fuck you think the world is right now, I'll just remind all of y'all that that was the barbarian age. It's the age where everything was taken over by black magic and Masonic structure. And the whole world was being utilized and run by black magic and structure. And as far as an entire era, that's what we just came out of. So if you're holding on so dearly, you might want to ask yourself how you were involved. That's step one in order to get out. And every single one of us have to do it. So if you don't want to do it, then get off our social medias, bow down your head, just like this. Freaking pat your C3 right here and say, connect Elon and lead me around, because it's exactly what you're going into. And we don't give a shit anymore. Until you figure it out, we've already made a way for you to get out. And this is what thanks we get. So this is what we're ending. This is the 13th month. It was written last year. We're in this last, right here, This cycle that we're in, we're really in the middle of two different cycles, okay? If you're on the ascended timeline, not ascended, descended, ascended, this is what your month of March looks like. If you're on ascended, descended timeline, this is what your month of March looked like. Because we've been lining up our eyes in space in order to pull us back into the correct energy in space to even hold all of us activating. Okay? And the more that we have to clear space out there to back up, the more primordial it gets, the more fog you get, the more lava you get, the more fires you get, the more pieces of earth are going to fall off. And since nobody cares, and since everybody just staked their claim and nobody wanted to work with this, then it's just all fallen. So if you don't want to lose everything that you always had, you better get tuned in. At least you can escape with your life. And by the way, every single one of us only escaped with our life. So if you're over here talking crap, I can promise you, you ain't going to get out any other way but losing everything. You're in tribulation. So either listen or not. We've already done the hard part. But go do whatever you want. Grab a pen. To all my peeps that give a shit, grab a pen. Pause the video. On the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd, which just passed, we were at 0 point. Those 3 days, the 20th, the 21st, and the 22nd, which took us over what? The equinox. Those 3 days were at 0 point. We're currently in a 04310 resurrection codes. These are going to run every single year. We've already staked, and we've already been writing them for a year. So we already had some of the stuff that's coming through. That's how we were able to do the rest. We're going to continue to do that when these connect. This one, we had 3 0 point days. Today is a 1 day. So basically, these are Christ codes. Because only from 0 can you get to quatra, which is a 4, which is 4 bloodlines all in one, working together throughout the human race. To 3, which is the Trinity, which you call Father, Son, and we'll call it Divine Feminine, because we ain't no Holy Ghost. And 1, which is Source, which is what you've got to get back to in order to get out of the simulation firmly, in order to learn to create on your own energy, to 0. So 04310 are Christ codes. So when we have a 0 day and then a 4 day, we'll have 4 days that are 1 day. Then we'll have 3 days that are 1 day. Then we'll have 1 day that it's all together. Then it'll go back into merge at 0 point. And then the next 10 days are basically printing the 10 days that we changed. They're going to start showing you, okay? This happens to be, it had 3 0 point days at the beginning. This particular cycle, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. It's 26 days. So basically we had 3 0 point days. We had to work backwards. So we're going 1, 3, 4, 0. So this is the sequence that's running this week is 0, 1, 3, 4. A set of O's, and then 4, 3, 1. And they're back to back because we've had to rewrite the 13th month. We're taking over dominating energies. Things are still coming undone, and everything's still rising, kind of like a cake. So today is a 1 day. Your 3 day and 1 are going to start tomorrow on the 24th, the 25th, and 26th. So anything that happens in those 3 days, anything that you witness, anything that changes, anything that you command, just realize that those 3 days are operating in are changing one day. Okay? This is what we're talking about being in the flow. Tomorrow I have a 50 on it. Now, what that means to me is brotherhood, sisterhood. Brotherhood should have had 50. Sisterhood should have had 50. Brotherhood took 100, said, fuck sister. So sister had to upgrade the entire human race and write all new timelines, because there ain't no way in hell that they's going to be able to allow to pull it off on a maternal planet in the middle of a rewrite when the whole world got taken over. So tomorrow is a 50-day. Pay attention. It's starting up our 3-day. And the 25th, I've got Shaka FM written down. The 25th last year was lunar solar node eclipse. Okay, so it's been 12 months since the eclipse from last year. And I've got 3 a.m. Shaka, like chakra FM. I don't know. We'll see what it is. The 26th, I have bridges. So basically on the 26th, what you're going to start, if anything is popping up that you don't have any, you're like, okay, I know that I'm supposed to be da-da-da-da-da-da-da, but I need a connection. Somebody show me. You're sitting there asking, show me, show me, show me, show me. That last 3 days is going to start showing you those bridges. And we've been collapsing these timelines from the 1500s, and the baby boomer stuff is activating right now. The people from the 50s. Everything's about the 5 right now. Everything's about 5. Then you're going to have the 27th, 28th, 29th, and 30th are your 4 days. And then the 31st is going to be 0 point. On the first 4 day, in my world, crap went crazy. There was a complete freaking time glitch. I caught it on photography. Like, remember in your 3 days, you're basically in a 3-6-9 pattern that you're used to. Whenever you go into a 4 day, you're going into the 4 pillars of creation, and this is when it gets a little trippy. So make those commands about your connections now, okay? Because this is a 1 day. This is what's coming in. Now, after the 31st, April 1st, April 2nd, April 3rd, April 4th, April 5th, all 0 point. So if you're asking for bridges, you're asking for connections, you're asking for all these things, you're probably going to start seeing it. I'm getting chills again. April 1st until April 5th. Then we start 4s again. So we have April 6th, which is a big one. I've been waiting to see what freaking ends up happening on this day. I'm not going to go into details, but it's been in production since 2018. The 6th, 7th, 8th, and on the 9th, we have another 50. Those are all going to be 4 days. So those days are going to end up lining up to the 4 counts that we had the week before. Then the 10th, 11th, and 12th are your 3 days. Okay? And this is what's happening. The sun, source sun, is anchoring. It's like the final, this is like a guitar string, and it's like a final anchor. And it has to do with the sun, and not the sun that you're seeing blow up. Source code's Arcturian sun. So that's the 10th, 11th, and 12th. Then on the 13th, you're going to have 1 day, and then you're going to be at 0 on April 14th. And then, thank goodness, this is done. And we pretty much then, it's more like we've got, then we're going to mirror it for 26 days. So as long as you're doing the work this first 26 days, what you're doing is writing your May. because there is no maypole. It don't give a flying F-balls if you's on the Mayflower anymore. There ain't no maypole. You can spin some ribbon around a pole as much as you want, and you can do some girls by their hair. It ain't gonna touch crap, because that maypole's been pulled from 80 in Poland. And if you don't have the ability to create in these higher realms, you can't create or build nothing. I think we're seeing that. I've been warning the ones who come and try to set up spiritual businesses, and they just think, oh, they're just setting up just a normal spiritual business. And then what happens? Y'all are getting attacked. You're getting shut down. I mean, it's been the same thing we've been living over here. This is why we knew we had to work with everybody in the world. You think I'd be having to explain all this to you if I didn't need to? You got to learn how to do it up here in pure frequency. This woo, 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 woo crap is just going to blow up in your face, because it's new physics, especially to the ones that you need to do it for you. So pretty much you have a cakewalk after this 26 days. Okay, so if you're planning on moving around, going on vacation, you probably want to wait to move until April 14th. You want to start planning what you're doing. You want to get right, get your creations going, whatever that is. Any big moves, you want to wait, because there could be an entire perception shift. And you're like, oh my gosh, I just should have waited just a little bit longer. Okay? What that leads up to in May is more like a puzzle. It's like, then it's going to lead up to basically like you're not even going to really know. It's just going to start falling into place. And so it's like working through this as a collective right now, doing it together, working together in the groups that you're in, and at least getting other people to call in your commands with you helps. At least one other person that you trust. It helps, because 2 always helps. That's going to help kind of get you more into what you're feeling like is more of a coast, a normal type life. Not that you can't be living a normal life right now. For us, this is the new normal. But if you're not used to having to create, you're not used to having to plan, you're not used to working with the cosmos, you're not used to working with collective energies, which, by the way, is what the elites and the monarchs, that's all they do. They wait for the whole human race to get to a point, and then they come in at the very end and move the pieces. Well, that's where we're at now. So I think that is it. That gives y'all a really good rundown of what's coming, where we're at. We've got some retrogrades and going direct and some other type stuff all in that. So I'll be back to talk more about that next week. A couple of you did order charts from the last video, and they're really powerful. If you feel like you need to get your chart done, Kohu32.com, go look at DigiChart. Is when you get a handwritten one, and then you'll get a color wheel with your energy rays on it. And right now the website is not working with that particular item when you order it, because we need you to contact us, because the ones of you that I'm activating are time capsules right now. And if you know that you need to get your chart done, then you email us, connect@kohu32.com. The email is going to be on the website, because I need to have a back and forth with you in order to do the chart right now. That's just if you need it in the next couple of weeks. Especially if you were born in the 50s or older than that. Because you guys have way more power than you can even imagine. And that's what timelines we're working with right now. So you can get your chart done. Just email me. That's why it doesn't work. Everything else on this site works. And and I think that's it. You can get a 444 too if you don't have the money for the chart, because I understand. I didn't either for a long time have money for this. I want to also explain that when y'all send me the money for this, like we only ended up keeping like 50 bucks out of that first chart that was ordered, because my energy and the collective energy was also engaged with it. So basically and I'm tuned in and been doing this for so long that basically before I even did that chart, I went and cleared all of the magic. I had to stay in a hotel. I had to go buy this certain thing from this certain place. And so I'm walking it on the ground if it's tied into me directly. And a lot of that money comes in and goes right back out. And then I go do the chart and it aligns you. So just FYI, we're not just bagging the money. I don't have to do it on every single one, thank goodness. But I do have to do that in order to align, because that breaks the grid on you and aligns you immediately. All right. If you're blocked on this channel, you're blocked from Ascension for 1,000,000 years and you're stuck in the matrix. I'll be back. Follow me on TikTok at Princess Chastia. And you know what we learned narcissists do? If they blame us for doing it and it's outrageous, we know that that's what you're doing.